What's up, fellow hunters? I This is the tree creation. So the tree I showed last time, we're gonna make that. I went ahead and wrote some stuff down here. What we're gonna be making. If you want to pause, you can read it. It'll be up the whole time. Um, yeah. So let's get into it. I took the game in question, or the game tree that we're gonna be making, is for a game that's available locally. 2.2, 300 max. I went ahead and made a model, and I'm going to explain each one here in a second. So, right here. So, open. Right. That's going to be your RFI, which is going to be $10, because that's about the average open size for the live games that I play in. It's usually $10. Occasionally you get guys that open to 15, but it's typically when they're deep and there's deeper stacks behind them. So that's going to be our RFI. This is our 3-bet with no callers. Then we have our squeeze versus 1 raise 1 call, squeeze versus 1 raise 2 calls, squeeze versus 1 raise 3 calls. And that's it. That's as big as the tree, because when you start adding more calls, the more calls you add, the tree gets exponentially larger. So we're going to stick to 3. This is 4-bet. And if you look, where's my other text file? Right here. So cold 4-bet is open 3-bet. And then you have the option to 4-bet or fold. And cold 4-bet from all positions leaves, this is SPR, by the way. Cold 4-bet has a SPR here. So that would be right here. Oops, slide this over so we can still see. And from the blinds, the SPR is here. So that's 1 raise, 1 3-bet, and then you have 4-bet or fold. So raise, 3-bet, 4-bet or fold, 4-bet or fold, 4-bet or fold, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now we have, if it goes raise, 3-bet, and folds back to the original raiser, that is 4-bet from RFI. So we have that SPR here. Well, not right there. It's actually right here. This is an open call squeeze. After the squeeze, you can only 4-bet or fold. Because, I mean, technically it is a 4-bet. That is going to be right here. 2 callers, 3 callers. And this one is specific to the RFI player. I mean, and the blinds. So, RFI, call, squeeze. This is going to be your SPR when it gets back. This is your SPR from raise, call, squeeze. SPR for those seats are going to be here, and that is this one. And now we can put a star, because I've already taken care of that. Right? So the opponent models I only use for preflop, because the post-flop sizings are street dependent, and this where's the example? Right here. See, it goes by SPR, and you can't distinguish between allow and don't allow donk betting. So there's no, it's better to do post flop later. So we're going to use this, right? Go here. We add our model that we made. Now we're going to create an action config. And so first we're going to go here and we're going to say post flop calls. When should calls be added? Calls should always be added. Who can limp? No one. Who can call? Open raises, big blind, and 2 in position. Now, as you can see from here, we have 3 callers, but 3 is not an option. But if you look right here, when I change this, it changes that number. So let me come over here, change this to 3. We save it. So then we come over here to SPR. We find our lowest SPR. And we make sure that we add all-ins when the SPR is lower than this. That'll make sure you don't have an option to raise and raise or shove pre-flop, right? We don't want that option. We don't want to have multiple sizings. On the flop, we're not going to need all-ins at 5.5 SPR, right? We don't need to add all-ins. We want to add all-ins around 1.25 is where we're going to add for all streets, because we don't want to have multiple sizings and we don't want to have the option to overbet too much. And add folds. This is, let's see if it shows the actual explanation. It does not. So if you've invested less than 60% of your stack pre-flop, you add a fold, right? So if you've invested 61% of your stack, you cannot fold pre-flop. 70% on the flop, 75% on the river. 75% on the turn and river, blah, blah, blah. Bets and raises. This for no limit, you're you're never really going to use that, to be honest. Okay, so we have open at 10, 3-bet to 30. Oops. Cold 4-bet to 75, which is pretty standard. Standard for the games that I play in. So then you have open, call, a squeeze, which is 30 plus for each one. And then versus a squeeze, there's a 4-bet. And if it folds around, .76. How does the SPR change? Okay. So we obviously need to add that as well. So 2.76. Yep, 2.766 for 2 callers. No, 1 caller. Starter. We'll say RFI and field caller. 2.766. I'm going to imagine that it goes 2 callers, squeeze. It's probably going to be the same thing here. Yes, it is. Okay. .0161. 2.0161, and then we'll do 3 callers, squeeze. Oh, that's right. That's where I've already fixed this one. I've already fixed this one, but I didn't put it right here. So then this one is, I should just change this to this. And then put in 1.5584. And this one is complete. Plus 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, so then we need to fix these. So new 300. To 2 component models. And you could set up different models for different positions if you wanted to. You can also node lock ranges. You can't do it once the sim is running. You have to do it in here. I will show you this here. Locks 3 bets and squeezes to jacks plus and ace queen plus. We're going to get into that later, but just giving you an idea there. Now here, pre bets equals 3, SPR greater than 2.75, and SPR less than, no, I had it right, less than 2.77 equals 1 squeeze, 1 caller. So that's going to be 10, 20, so 40. So we're going to make it 100. So we're going to do 60 chips. And then that one is done. And now this one, pre bets equals 3, SPR greater than 2.0 and SPR less than 2.1 equals, now this one is 2 callers, so it's going to be 50, 60, 70. It's going to be $80 out there. So we're going to make it 125, which is going to be 75 chips. And then we'll save. And then add that. Go here, use the same action config. Open, call, squeeze, and now RFI should have the option. And they do. Now if it goes call, call, squeeze, RFI should also have the option now, which they do. And then we obviously know three-handed also has that option. Now we're going to overwrite that tree. Yep. Okay. I believe so. I'm surprised it doesn't ask for overwrite. So preflop is done. Now